I look like an alien. Oops.
Oh, yeah. It's a bit weird. Okay.
Hang on. It's just fine. Hang on. I
No
just need to
worries.
get the right angle.
We still have time, so it's fine.
How are you doing?
I'm
I'm
good.
Annie.
I'm Jamie.
Hi,
Holly.
Jamie.
Okay.
I'm a bit nervous about what to
No
say.
worries. No worries. We'll just take it as a normal discussion. Nothing official, nothing very formal. It's just like a sharing session.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think whether this will work well.
But I will I will do a spotlight on you later. And then after that you also can share screen as well.
Yeah. Is it better?
Yeah, it's better. Okay. Not
I
quite
look like
right.
oh God, I just look. Let me change another virtual. Let me see.
Not quite right.
No. I think. I feel like an alien. I think
it's not that bad now.
Better.
Yeah, this is good.
This just have to work, right?
No worries.
Hi, Annie.
Hi, Josephine.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, we can hear you.
How are you?
So Josephine is from Raven?
Raven, yes.
Okay, all right. Nice to meet you. I'm Jamie, the Lodge Alumni committee. So I'll be the moderator for this session.
Okay, okay, Jamie. Good.
Okay.
Are you able to
going?
Do you have are you able to tell us how many is in
based on my the information that I got, we should have 3 people who registered. It is a Saturday afternoon, anyways. But then no worries, because we will this session will actually be recorded, so we will post it on afterwards, so that the public or the students who are unable to attend the session can actually view it online later. So no worries on that. So we can just share about the university, Lincoln University, and then after that, basically the students can actually view the videos later. So for any inputs, and then after that they can contact you directly.
How do you find your students? Are they quite used to virtual meeting like this?
Yeah, getting used to it because of the recovery, the MCO that we have because of the COVID situation. So there are quite a few sessions that is actually hosting through online. So the students nowadays, they tend to be more tech savvy, I would say. So shouldn't be too much of an issue.
I think most of our students are tech savvy, but it's just a matter of getting used to, way of meeting, the new. Well, I guess
everyone's learning.
I guess it's quite convenient, huh? You don't have to drive your car and get your parents to drop you, maybe in a way.
And everything can be, all the questions can be actually raised and then answered almost immediately, or even after this. Yeah, if you do have any questions after the session. So we'll wait for another, probably we will start at 5. We see how is the attendance like, and then if if it's 5 or 3, then we can start the session already, because it will be recorded. So anyone that is joining us later on, they can just probably, if they have any questions, they can raise it during the Q&A session. So basically we will be having the presentation by Miss Annie. And then after that, probably the 30 minutes mark, we will have the Q&A section. So we can share if there are any questions from the audience or the attendees.
Mm.
Yeah. So we will wait for a bit more.
It's not yet 5 anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, the session's supposed to start at 5.
at 5. Yeah, but then we can do some. We can follow on or go on this. No problem.
You must be very busy.
It's all right. But it's a 2-day session, so it's the first session was actually on the first day of this edu fair is actually held on last Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. We got somebody here.
Yes, Moses.
Oh, she's mute.
Annie, is Cratchit quite sunny? Because your background, your university is the sunshine. I can see the clock. It is.
It's dark.
I know it is. It is 9 p.m.
Yeah, it is.
But then the virtual background you have, I guess it was taken during the day, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't travel. You can't travel to outside New Zealand. Lock.
No. Yeah. I think yeah.
Malaysia just we have new announcement. We are still on the recovery mode, the MCO, until 31st December. So even if you want to pass me a bottle of wine, I can't get it.
Do I have to, like, if people come back to Malaysia, do they have to do the quarantine?
Yeah, from overseas, yes.
Till the end of December?
Not the end of December is for our recovery movement control MCO or order. I think if anybody, if from outside Malaysia, am I right, Jamie? That when they arrive, they will be tested, and then they have to be quarantined for 14 days. Not self quarantine. I think, right, Jamie?
Actually, the situation is very on and off. Sometimes, if I'm not mistaken, from the overseas, they would have to undergo 14 days quarantine. Previously, it was mentioned home quarantine is available, but then after that, because of the rise in the cases, then it ended up hotel quarantine and a hotel or specific locations that's fixed by the government.
Yeah.
It's more or less under control.
Yeah.
Just.
I think it's clear. So as Cratchit, it's clear, right, Annie?
At the moment, there are no community cases in the South Island. So by the end, so at the moment, Auckland is in level 3.
Yes.
Jamie, we have 4 levels. Level 1 is like business as usual, but you have to be a bit careful. And level 2 is you have to maintain social distancing, and we have to do contact tracing. And inside, in an event, you can't have more than 100 people. And then outside, a major event, you can't have more than 500 people. And so level 3 will be kind of semi-lockdown, where schools are only open for the essential workers. Most of the schools are closed. Like, you have to work from home. And then level 4 is the complete lockdown, nothing, no more. Yeah. So so we have that. So right now the whole New Zealand is in level 3. Auckland is level 3, and we are in the rest of New Zealand are in level 2. And by the end of tomorrow, Auckland will get out of level 3, and then the whole country will be in level 2 for the next 2 weeks. So it's kind of how we are trying to make, track the community cases and understand where we have the, how we have the outbreak. No, how do we have the communications from the quarantine, the managed quarantines community linked to the community. So one of the ways to manage the COVID situation, and it's through understanding the movement of people. Yeah. So that's why we had that. Yeah. Oh, hello. Hi, Jamie. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. Maybe we'll wait until 5:03. Thereabouts, and then we will start the session.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right.
We have Moses Yak and we have Liang Tong.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really cool. Yeah. Yeah. So the I was from Johor originally, Jamie. So I came to New Zealand as a student many years ago.
Then you are based there now.
Yeah, so I've been living in New Zealand since let me see. I came to as a student in 1996. Very long time ago. I know.
Because you love so New Zealand is a very nice country to you. You love the environment there?
Every day. Actually, this I really appreciate, as I get older, I really appreciate the simplicity of the lifestyle. Yeah. And I because I'm originally from Johor, so I've never been to kind of like big, for me, living in a big city like KL, for example, wasn't my ideal fun. I love Kuching because Kuching is kind of like right size. It's easier to travel around and you have that opportunities, but you don't have that traffic issues that big cities like Jakarta, Beijing, and the stress that you have to experience. It's really hard to explain to young people that you can only deal with it for X number of years, and then you think, but why am I wasting my time 3 hours a day in that commuting? And so for me, New Zealand really give me that I live in Christchurch. I drive to Lincoln, which is half an hour's drive, maybe up to 40 minutes. But that journey of going to the university is just amazing. I could see, Jamie, if you haven't been to New Zealand, you must come.
Haven't been. I've been wanting to go.
But I love New Zealand, Jamie. I graduate not from Lincoln, from the University of Canterbury, in the same city as Lincoln. But I visited Lincoln so many times because a student. It's such a fantastic campus. Goodness me. Yeah.
It's just like the drive-through within kind of 20 minutes out of the city center. You get into it's semi-rural. So now it's because next month is spring. You can see the sheep. Honestly, I could see sheep with lamb. It's the lambing season.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, and then I could see the Southern Alps covered in snow, and it's literally just within 20 minutes drive of the city center.
Are you going to show your big field, the green field?
So later you will share it in the presentation slides, I would assume.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. So it's 5:04 now. We're running a bit late. So we'll start the session now. So, okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Lodge School Edu Fair Talk with Miss Annie Goh from Lincoln University. And my name, and we also have today with us Miss Josephine as well from Raven. So my name is Jamie, and I will be your moderator for this session. So we will start off the presentation by Miss Annie, and then this will be followed by a Q&A session at around the 30 minutes mark. So you may either ask questions by unmuting your microphone and asking directly, or if you feel a bit shy, you can just type out your questions in the chat window at the side. So without further ado, can we invite Miss Annie to take over?
Hey, thank you very much, Jamie. On the Saturday afternoon, so I will try to keep it simple. But I think today is also about just thinking a bit outside the square. Just also have a generic discussion about what opportunities could be post-COVID, perhaps. So I kind of food and wine. I put the food and wine industry because I know Josephine really like to support the wine industry from New Zealand, and me, I'm also a really strong supporter. Jamie, I hope we can convert you into the New Zealand wine supporter as well.
It's lovely Chardonnay though, and the Pinot Noir, New Zealand, very famous for this too. Yes, I agree with you.
So I would I know it's for the students today. I just thought what I've done is I've gone. I'll give you a little bit of overview about my universities, and I'll take you through a few kind of key programs that's in agriculture, food science and wine science, and agribusiness and food marketing. And I'll share a couple of our student stories just to give you an idea to think what options could be outside engineering, pharmacy, and health sciences and accounting. Yeah, because what I've kind of find during COVID situation is, apart from the essential worker, which are the health workers, one of the big part of the unsung heroes are our farmers, the supply chain people who actually ship the food to, from the field, grow the food, produce the food, and actually that we actually can eat. So I think maybe it's a time to take a bit of understanding of traditional Korean, maybe think about be a bit braver, and think about maybe job, combining a few interests as well. So firstly, where is New Zealand? New Zealand is not far from Australia, but closer to Antarctica, 3 hours kind of flight from Australia. So often we joke about the location of Australia is that Australia is our west island. So if you want to come to the mainland, you should come to the South Island of New Zealand. And of course, coming from Kuching or Sarawak, you could travel. One of the most direct kind of route will be traveling through Singapore, and from Singapore to Christchurch directly. If you want to go for a slightly budget way, you can go from Kuching to Malaysia, and then Malaysia onto Auckland, and then from Auckland to Christchurch if you wish. But of all my years of traveling to Kuching, I often use the Singapore as a most direct transit point to come to beautiful Sarawak. So Christchurch, if I said, I would like you all to promise me at the end of this session, and Josephine will support that, is that regardless of your choice of coming to Lincoln University or New Zealand, so to speak, because you have choices in life, but make it the 101 things that you must do before you die is to visit New Zealand, and most importantly, the South Island of New Zealand. Yeah. So now, and if you come in July, August, which is now, it is a skiing time. So within 1.5 hours from Christchurch, you can go skiing. And if you are really brave, that winter cold water, you could go surfing as well. And you can learn how to surf if you want to. Yeah. So there are plenty of things you can do. But I would actually suggest you to come maybe about November, December, kind of January time, if you want to travel, because it's the kind of beautiful summer. So you have long days, you can have lots of time to play. Eventually, after COVID, yeah. So my university is based in this region called Canterbury. The closest city is Christchurch. So you will travel, get to the Christchurch airport, and you come to, it's only about half an hour's drive from Christchurch airport to our university. Nothing is more than half an hour's drive in Christchurch. Yeah. So I live in the city. I go to Lincoln, it's half an hour's drive. Yeah. Everything is kind of half an hour's drive. At the most, when we have the traffic, the so-called traffic situation, you just add another 10 minutes. That is it. That will, for me, in my opinion, that's really, really bad traffic. Yeah. So look at this. I know that you now young people are having Instagram, yeah. So follow Instagram, Christchurch NZ, hashtag Explore Christchurch, hashtag Christchurch NZ. This is some of the beautiful, beautiful images that you can see, yeah. So now I think I make my point. Oh, you must visit, yeah. Yeah. So I'm just going to see whether I could, hang on, oops. Whether I could, sorry, just come back to that in a minute. I'm just going to try to see whether I could show a video. Let me see if I can do it. Okay.
Potential is a seed. Its fruition depends on the ground in which it's placed and the effort and care with which it's nurtured. At Lincoln, we champion growth in all its forms: intellectual, emotional, physical, personal and individual, collective and societal. We believe that character is grown through effort and perseverance, relationships through collaboration and respect, that often our own well-being grows best when we seek to grow others. We enable growth by passing on knowledge and concepts, by adding to the pool of existing knowledge through a steadfast commitment to research, by allowing each student to grow their own way, by tailoring their learning to their ambitions, by partnering with industry to prepare our students for the challenges of the real world, and when the time comes, sending them out, ready to enhance lives, enrich the world, and grow the future. Ka tipu, ka rea, ka whanakea ke te rākau mātauraka. Ko tōna pakeaka he waiwai haere. Ko tōna kaupapa te takata ora, nau mai ki te whare wānaka o Aoraki. Lincoln University. Grow.
Right. I hope I have explained the kind of our university's philosophy. So I'm just going to give you a quick kind of a few key stats about our university. So Lincoln University is one of the 8 universities in New Zealand. If you don't know about studying in New Zealand, you are very welcome to talk to Josephine, and she will be able to share the 7 other university stories. But today, obviously, I work for Lincoln University. I'll tell you a little bit about study options here. So Lincoln is ranked top 1. It's the specialist university. We started in 1878. So what you're seeing there is our Ivy Hall. That's how we started. It was built in 1878. So it's kind of, we are old. So we ranked top 100 in agriculture, ranked 400 in top 400 in QS ranking. And I think we are a university that really matters. So in the recent times of higher education, where they do a United Nations Sustainable Development Growth goal. Of the 27 goals, in the goal number 2, which is the fight against zero hunger, Lincoln University is ranked for top 10 for the subjects that we teach and how we train our students. So I think that kind of give you a context about our philosophy and why we are relevant. But we are a specialist university, and we started as a School of Agriculture in 1878. So that is kind of our portfolio. And obviously over the years, we grow our education subjects, but we remain true to and connected to our original, should I say, root, so that we actually, we are maintaining our strong connection with the land-based industries. So in our Lincoln campus is 58 hectares of land. We have our own vineyard, winery, accommodation. We've got our own cricket pitches, dairy farms, horticulture centers. And so if you do come to our campus, there are plenty of space. It is not in the city center because of our the subject's nature that we teach. However, it is quite an easy commuting. I think one of the things I really like about Lincoln is that because of the subjects and the way we teach our undergraduate subjects, we are very closely linked with the industries. And because of that, we actually need to have quite a good staff to student ratios to be able to share knowledge. So at Lincoln, we have 1 academic staff to 12 students ratio. That is quite a strong ratio. That has the best, I believe, the best academic staff to student ratios amongst the New Zealand university. I think because of that, this is why we actually rank so highly in the world. And every year, we have about 3,000 students study at Lincoln, and out of that, about 1,000 international students from over 70 different countries. So the area of specializations that we have, we are quite specialist, as I mentioned: agriculture, horticulture, and verticulture. Now, verticulture is to work with grapes, is the science of grapes. And so we also teach a business, agricultural value chain. And for us, what's important is that we teach our students about sustainability and being innovative when it comes to the practices, the business practices, and the science practices, so that we can continue to innovate and be but in a very sustainable way, so that we can make money, commercialize our agriculture activities, but at the same time, we are able to be good and be kind to our environment, so that our environment will have many generations of the businesses and agricultural practices for the future. So as a university, we are specialists. We only have 3 faculties. We have Faculty of Agriculture and Life Sciences, Faculty of Environment, Society and Design, and also Faculty of Agribusiness and Commerce. So these are just a list of the bachelor degrees that we offer. And today I'm just going to feature about kind of 3 key, about 4 areas. One is agribusiness and food marketing, which is another program is Bachelor of Science in Food Science, Verticulture and Oenology, which is the science of winemaking and also working with grapes. And last but not least, our agriculture science, just so that you could actually have an understanding of how this could be a bit different. Yeah. And like other New Zealand universities, we also work very closely with international partners in the world. So our students in their second year of their bachelor degrees, they have the option to go and as an exchange students to our partner universities, which I'll talk a little bit later. Yeah. One of the things that I talk about the future innovation sustainability. So these are the 3 research centers of excellence that we've recently launched, and they look at research and development in interdisciplinary research. To look at one research center is of food for future consumers. Another one is focusing on designing for future productive landscapes. Last but not least is about sustainable tourism and regions, community and landscapes. I think this just to give you an idea about our university. Now, so what I probably will quickly talk to you now is about the Bachelor of Agribusiness and Food Marketing. So firstly, we would like to invite you to be part of the future of food. So why do we want to do agribusiness and food marketing? Now, there are a couple of things that we want to know. Firstly, the food industry has major challenges in the futures, and we need people who actually understand food system from production to the final consumer. So what are the challenges that we're facing post-COVID? Before COVID, post-COVID, we still have the same issues. By 2050, we'll need to feed about 2 billion more people. Now, how can we do that without overwhelming the planet? Yeah, where will we find enough food for 9 billion people? And also at the same time, we need to consider things like animal welfare. And with the developed economy, continue the food waste. Yeah. Now it's a bit tricky. Like the food waste, it's a big issue. So how do we don't waste food, which is also another key issue. Yeah. And other challenges including health, like in the developed, in the still developing country, there's still issues with malnutrition. But at the booming developed economy, you have the obesity issues. Yeah. So how do we have healthy food that also protect the future? Yeah. So in the New Zealand context, for us, we need to grow exports. But how do we grow the primary industry if exports in real terms from 32 billion in June 2012 to over 64 billion by 2025 without compromising the environment? Yeah. And we have the challenges including like how do we move beyond just producing bulk commodities to quality products that could also have the good quality branding and also directly to consumer. Yeah. So we need to a lot of the traditional approach is about maximizing production, but actually what we need to look at is focus on producing the right type of food to meet the consumer demand so that we actually understand what the consumer wants. Yeah. So if you think about the agribusiness and food in that context, yeah, New Zealand, about 66% of New Zealand exports and 18% of the New Zealand GDP are in that whole agriculture value chain. Yeah. So what it gives you an idea is that from the production, from the growing production, transferring it to your supermarket, that is kind of the whole agriculture value chain. That's about 66% of our exports. That's to do with food, yeah? So this bachelor degree is about a combination of that. So it's a combination of agriculture business. How do you do that transferring how do you move from A to B? Marketing and commerce. How do you manage sustainable sourcing? How do you understand the market the products to the right consumers, understand your consumers' behavior, to also understanding food science so that you can design the right type of products from the science that will meet the customer's demand through food science knowledge. Yeah. So this is the degree actually teach you the whole process of food production, processing, marketing, distribution. So it's that whole from the farm to your table. Yeah. So there are some of the, so when we developed this bachelor degree, we talked to a few of the agriculture food businesses like Jespri, Fonterra, Synlait, Ensco, Silver Farms. So what we want to understand is what kind of demand from the industry to actually, so that we can train the right type of students for them. So at Lincoln, we actually have a two kind of business program. For the Bachelor of Commerce in Agriculture, we teach our students to manage the productivity within the farm, yeah, from the input to production. As for the agribusiness and food marketing, it's more from that processing, distribution, marketing to the consumer area, yeah. So you understand the whole food system, you understand the quality, food quality, and food marketing, economics, and all of that. So this gives you an idea. And so a couple of our students in their second year, they will also go to another country. And this is some of the students, some of the universities that they have been to. Now, so this is kind of this is what the bachelor degree is about. It's a 3-year studies. You also need to work in the for an 18 weeks of practical work. And the industries that our students have gone into, this is kind of some of the areas they've gone into: wine industry, kiwi fruits, meat, apples, dairy, processed food. And so this just to give you some of the ideas about our graduates who are alumni who is currently working in. So one of what the George, for example, is working as a sales support specialist in Synlait Milk, which actually export the milk formula to China particularly. Julie, she's the project coordinator for a company called Ensco, which export quality meat to overseas. We also have another company that's looking at the marketing of the fruit. And Emma, who has gone on to the University of Missouri for continue for research and further academic studies. So each of our bachelor degree, we do have a what we call a course advisor. So they will help you to decide what the core subjects, what are the compulsory courses that you should study, and what are the electives that will be useful, so that when you go and approach the job market, you will have a little bit of unique differences in your CV. So we might have, say, 20 students who have graduated from agribusiness and food marketing, but your electives, some of you might choose for wine sciences, some of you might choose for more global business courses or tourism. So each of you will have your own kind of little niche content, so that you are competing as individual. Now, I'm just going to, I have got probably another 2 minutes. So I'm just going to soldier through. We do have other programs like a Bachelor of Science where you can focus in agriculture and verticulture science, and also food science. So some of our students are working in, we do have students come from Malaysia that are focusing on food science particularly. And one of my Malaysian students from KL, Lydia, she's working in Fonterra as a food technologist in Timaru. So she came from, I think she did our diploma and she just graduated last year. I'm just going to pass through that so that you don't have to look at it, because we're a little bit behind time. I talked a bit too much. No, but what I want to also talk to you about is the wine it's the viticulture oenology degree, because New Zealand wine industry is quite famous in the world. And what you could see is the growth in the New Zealand wine export over the last 20 years have grown by 17%, which is fantastic. And this is kind of New Zealand is really famous for our for a white wine called Sauvignon Blanc. So it kind of gives you that, if you, depending on how your taste, it kind of tastes a little bit like grapefruit-ish, a bit light and fresh. Yeah, it's quite young. And another, but Australia produce quite a good red wine, but New Zealand, the red wine type is more mellow. It's called Pinot Noir, which is probably my favorite part is from Central Otago. Yeah. So if you like to work outdoor, if you like to work with business studies, but you also like to chemistry, this is another good program to study. We are the first university in New Zealand that offer the viticulture and oenology degree, and focusing on the cool climate wine production. And we integrate viticulture, which is the science with grapevines, and oenology, which is wine science. So it is a science-based vineyard and winery skills, and it is also includes about an 18 weeks of practical work experience. I'm just going to go through this. So what our students have to do is they do have to learn how to make wine. You could see, you have to, and you have to learn how to work with grapes. We take you on to field tours, visit winery, vineyards, and like the industry, and actually learn from the experts. Because we were the first university that introduced that, and that really pioneered the wine industry in New Zealand, we are very fortunate that we have a lot of alumni and graduates already working in the industry, that they are actively mentoring our young graduates, and also take them on into this practical work. Yeah. So we do have students also have gone to overseas on exchange program, and some are actually working in overseas different vineyards as well. Yeah, so this is some of the fantastic winemakers that are working in New Zealand. So I'm just and this is just some of the example of the kind of pay scale. For example, in New Zealand dollars per annum. Yeah. One thing is, of course, you need to be enthusiastic and really like what you do. So whatever you do, it is important that you learn and you enjoy the study, and that you want to improve, and you have that curiosity to actually want to learn. And I think that's kind of important thing, that if there's one piece of advice about for me about learning is stay curious. Yeah, want to learn, and that will be helpful. Now I just want to wrap up with I think you're doing A-level, so to get direct entry into our bachelor degree, we need 3 principal passes with 1 at C grades or better, and that will get direct entry. If you just for whatever reason you miss just a little bit entry, don't worry, you can start with our diploma in university studies, which can pathway you into the 2nd year of the bachelor degree. So that will become a 1-year diploma plus 2 years bachelor degree. And Josephine, our representative in coaching, will be able to tell you about the pathway and explain that to your parents if required. You are essentially in the same class as 1st-year degree students. There's no difference. The difference is you just you will have extra academic support to help you succeed. And you will move into 2nd year after you complete your diploma, and you are in the same class as a 1st-year degree student. Our fees is about 20 for science and business programs, between 29,000 to 31,000 New Zealand dollars a year. But we do have a little bit of some partial scholarship, which is between 3,000 to 5,000 and we'll invite students to apply if you meet the direct entry for the program. Yeah. As I said before, we do have our halls of residence on campus. It's a good way to start. And once you, after one semester, you're sick of the halls of residence food, you can move into the student flats, which is also on campus. And you just need to buy your own food, do your own cooking. Yeah. Other things that might be useful for you is that you can work as a student 20 hours a week, full-time during holidays. And the minimum pay in New Zealand at the moment is $18.90 per hour before tax. The current immigration policy does allow you to apply for the 3 years post-study work visas, which is in 3 years open work visas after graduating with a bachelor degree. So I'll send this link to Josephine, and if you can share your contact details, she can also follow up with you and send you this information.
Yes.
Yeah. Last but not least, I'll just show you. So Karen, we do have a new young generation of future agriculture practitioner. So we have Karen from Indonesia. She came from Surabaya. She's doing our Bachelor of Agribusiness and Food Marketing. She said agriculture was a bit too hardcore, so she wanted to do agribusiness so that she can still make a difference. Yeah, she wanted to do something that's not very mainstream, but can change the world a little bit. Yeah. And we have Poi from Thailand. She's actually doing our Bachelor of Commerce in Agriculture. Next year, she's going to switch to the viticulture and oenology because she decided that she actually quite like to learn how to make wine. The reason I think what she likes the most of her experience at in Lincoln is that she gets to know people from all around the world. Malika, she is from India. She is doing first year Bachelor of Viticulture Oenology. It was quite challenging for her during the first year degree and have to go through the lockdown process. I think she learns to set the alarm 5 minutes before Zoom class session. And so she's doing very well actually. And so I think in summer this time she will start doing her practical work soon. Last but not least, our Malaysian student, originally from Penang, he did his Bachelor of Agriculture. And for him, the field trips to farms was a highlight. And one thing that he really learned, he really enjoyed was his summer practical work on a dairy farm where he had to work with 600 cows. So hopefully this will give you some ideas about Lincoln University. And I would like to stop here and ask you some questions. Or if you've got questions to ask, let me know.
Thank you so much, Annie, for sharing with us about Lincoln University. It's quite an unusual or not a very common course that we normally hear or know about. Yeah, it's quite interesting. Made me feel like I want to go back to the uni to that age where I can choose this sort of course if I had the chance to.
Yeah, I think it's okay. Like in this generation of learning, what you want to learn is about transferable skills, and you want to have some basic, like the base skill, but you need to be able to adapt and adjust. But it is important, I think, for me, what I learned from my years of working with international students and students from all over the world, attitude is important. The ability to maintain curious, like if you're curious about a subject, then you always learn better. And also don't be afraid to learn something new. That is not what your friends are learning. Because if you learn something that you are curious about, you want to learn, you will build a career, and that's become your own journey, you know. I remember when I was a student, I I was going to, like about 100 of us all wanted to study accounting. I couldn't cope in my final year of the degree. I had to change to market management. I ended up doing a double major in marketing. And I remembered during that time, one of my best friends said to me, "Oh, don't study marketing. Any graduates can do marketing." But I really loved it. I really liked that subjects. So I studied, and that was the best thing that was one of the best decisions I've ever made. For myself, and it gave me that opportunities and the freedom in life that I otherwise wouldn't have, you know. So be brave. I won't say, I think do some research, take a little bit of time to ask yourself what subjects you don't like, what subjects you like to learn, what subjects you will love to learn, yeah. And then try that.
Thank you so much for sharing with us on some of the tips that the students might be facing or may take into account when considering what sort of courses that will be suitable to them, because it will be a lifelong kind of journey for them once they start on that path. For our attendees today for this session, do you have any questions that you like to ask Annie or Josephine? Feel free to actually raise your question, or if you're a bit shy, you can just write it down in the chat room that we have here. Is there any questions? But I would like to ask, I've never been to New Zealand, so would like to know how's the cost of living like over there?
The New Zealand immigration suggests students to budget between 15,000 New Zealand dollars to cover for 1 year to cover their living expenses. Okay. I would suggest students to budget between 15 to 18,000 New Zealand dollars a year. Just to have a little bit of extra money, don't stress about it. And first year, I think it might cost a bit more because like when you move to a new country, the setup cost is more. Yeah, but when you get to the second year or towards the end of first year, often you start looking for your part-time jobs. You'll be able, in summer, for example, that's when you can go and work maybe 30 hours or 40 hours a week. And that's when you can make some good pocket money that can allow you to travel and play. It is important to have a life. You should, for all students, you can be a poor student, but you should travel because seeing is also part of your journey to learn, you know. So one of the reasons why we live in that, why we go to another country to study is one is to learn the subjects, but also to experience life. So a good friend of mine in his first year, in his summer, he just bought a tent and he got onto the bus and just traveled around different part of South Island, and he did fruit picking.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So he didn't make a lot of money, but what he did was a good, fantastic summer holidays, and he loved it. And he got to meet lots of people from all over the world. Some he liked, some he didn't like, but it was a really good learning experience for him, you know. So but just be in mind that if you choose to do something a bit different, you have to be brave. One of the reasons why, the other things that you learn by going to another country and live away from your parents is to live for yourself and to learn to be your best friend by yourself. Yeah, you should be your best friend, and you learn you need to actually embrace your own company. Yeah, and you need to live. You need to learn how to live, how to have how to cook, how to eat. The basic looking after yourself kind of skills are also very important. That's one thing you will learn. And you have to learn how to cook, right? You have to learn how to manage your finance, Those are the skills, those are meeting deadline particularly, and learn how to be resourceful, learn how to get help without being too late. Yeah. So, and learn not to be shy.
Definitely.
Like 3 of you have been listening me talking nonstop. You haven't asked me your questions. So it's either I've explained it very well, or you have questions you're too shy to ask. So you asked Josephine.
Yes, absolutely.
Even in my office, just opposite Ichong.
Yeah, but it is okay, yeah. But you know, one of the things I also learned is about being assertive. Unless you speak for yourself, nobody is going to speak for you. Yeah. So there are lots of life skills that you will learn by being away from home or live in another country. And there's one thing I always tell students. I know I've got lots of advice, but I feel that this is my opportunity to share some of the experience I learned. Yeah.
Advice, yeah.
Yeah. Now, one thing I learned, a few things. Now, if you are really shy, remember nobody knows you are shy. Only your friends from your high schools. So you can pretend that you're not shy. Yeah. And you have to make that first initiate. You have to be brave and break the ice. Yeah, that's one thing. The other thing is never apologize of English is not your first language, or never apologize of coming from Asia, coming from Malaysia. Never apologize of where you come from, because that's our heritage. We need to embrace it. But we learn and we choose what we can learn from that culture we're going into. We can be proud, but we also need to embrace and learn. Yeah. And be curious and never stop. And on a bad day, just start laughing, because you know what? We have to celebrate. We are alive, we're healthy, and at tough time, you need to celebrate, because you know why? This is life. We've got sunny day, rainy days. So even the worst day, when you think it can't get any worse, you have to smile. Once you smile, things will be good. Yeah.
That's a very good set of advice to the students who are beginning their journey in an overseas environment, totally away from family. So it's a very good set of things to take note of, to remember, you know, just to embrace everything, like what you said. So is there any other questions that the attendees would like to raise? If there's nothing else, probably we'll wrap up the session. And if you have any questions post this session, post this meeting, you can actually contact Josephine directly, or even Annie to hear some of the or to get to know more about Lincoln University. So thank you so much, Annie, as well as Josephine, for your time, for explaining to us, giving us more insight on a very different and a very unusual and interesting course. If there is any questions, feel free to just approach them. So we will wrap up the session now, and thank you so much for being here with us. We hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Hey, thank you very much, everybody. Please come and see us in New Zealand.
And thank you, Jamie. And thank you, Annie. It's awesome. And I hope to see some of you, students.
Jamie, come and see us. I go out for a glass of wine.
I
study in New Zealand.
It's more under control.
Yeah.
I study in New Zealand.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Now, exams is coming soon, so stay calm, breathe, and have faith in yourself. You can do it.
Yes. Goodbye now, Annie.
Okay, take care.
Say hi to Christchurch for me.
I will.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Jamie, and all the students. Hope to see you all. Bye again.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye. Okay, I'll end the session now. Bye.
Sure.
Bye.